Are you feeling small, defeated, and neglected? Do you think your dreams are too big for your situation and achieving them is almost impossible? If you think so, this story is for you. The story of a small island nation called Cape Verde or Cabo Verde and their triumph in FIFA 2026. Imagine a country so small, it looks like a typing error on a global map. 10 volcanic rocks scattered in the Atlantic Ocean. No oil, no massive armies, no legacy of global power. Just 530,000 souls living on islands constantly battered by drought and dust storms from the Sahara. For centuries, the world looked right through them. To the colonizers, this place was just a warehouse, a tragic, painful transit point for the Atlantic slave trade. And for decades, colonial rule was so suffocating that Cabo Verdeans weren't even allowed to form their own football clubs. Football wasn't a sport here, it was an act of resistance. Cut to the year 2026, FIFA World Cup. That exact small speck of a nation walking onto the grandest stage in human history, staring down the barrels of football royalty, nations with millions of people, billions of dollars, and centuries of football DNA. And it's not a football story. It's a masterclass in what happens when the people who were told they don't matter decide that they do. To understand the miracle of the Blue Sharks, you have to understand the math of survival. Because of decades of economic hardship, more Cabo Verdeans live outside the islands than on them. The diaspora scattered to the wind, to France, to Portugal, to the Netherlands, to America. They became a people used to being the minority, used to speaking someone else's language, used to proving their worth on someone else's terms. For decades, their national football team didn't even exist in any meaningful form. When it finally did, it was immediately defined by heartbreak. In 2014, they were just one match away from a miracle World Cup qualification. Only for an administrative error, a single ineligible player, to get them disqualified by FIFA. The dream was dead. The world laughed. Back to your islands, they said. But the world didn't know the phrase, man is certainty. That is the motto of Pedro Bubista Brito, a local coach born on the tiny island of Boa Vista. When the system failed, Bubista didn't cry. He went hunting, not for traditional resources, but for human beings. He looked at the map of the world and realized Cabo Verde's greatest weakness, its scattered population, was actually its ultimate weapon. He began a 12-year mission of global diaspora hunting. He wasn't looking for spoiled superstars. He was looking for the overlooked, the rejected, and the misfits who carried island blood in their veins. And oh, what a beautiful, crazy crew he assembled. Look at Roberto Pico Lopez. In 2018, Pico wasn't wearing a jersey. He was wearing a suit. He was working a regular 9-to-5 job as a mortgage advisor at a bank in Dublin, Ireland. He played part-time football on cold, rainy Tuesday nights. One evening, he gets a direct message on LinkedIn, written in Portuguese. He doesn't speak Portuguese. Assuming it's just internet spam, he ignores it. For 9 months, the future of a nation sat in a spam folder. Finally, the coach sent a follow-up in English. Do you want to play for your father's homeland? Pico closed his banking laptop and said yes. and went from calculating interest rates to spending 120 minutes marking Lionel Messi at a World Cup knockout match. Then there is Rotterdam 6. Six boys born and raised in the exact same neighborhood in the Netherlands. They grew up in Dutch academies, learned the art of total Dutch football, but were told they weren't quite what Netherlands wanted. Bobista found them, he united them, and they created magic on the ground. And then there is a soul of the team, the goalkeeper, Josimar Wozinha Dias. Born on the islands, Wozinha's father wanted to name him after the Argentine legend Jorge Valdano during the 1986 World Cup. But local colonial laws banned foreign names, so they named him after a Brazilian fullback instead. 40 years later, that same man would stand between the posts and make those very Argentines beg for Messi. Wozinha arrived at the 2026 World Cup with roughly 50,000 Instagram followers. What happened next was not modest. When Cabo Verde held Spain to a 0-0 draw in their opening group match, the world sat up. Wozinha made 7 saves, many of them spectacular. His follower count exploded overnight. Millions of followers. To be precise, 28 million when I make this video. Then came Argentina, the reigning world champions, number 1 in the world, under the leadership of the magical Lionel Messi. But Wozinha made 8 spectacular saves in the game. One came when Messi caught the entire stadium napping on a free kick in the 73rd minute. Another came deep in stoppage time, keeping Cabo Verde alive and forcing extra time. Argentina were not dominating this match, they were surviving it. They survived on a set piece with 9 minutes remaining to win 3-2. This was not football born in a laboratory. This was football born on the volcanic sand beaches of this island, Cabo Verde, where the ball bounces unpredictably, where you have to use your imagination to just keep the ball in the air. It was a style of play that said, we have nothing to lose, so we will show you everything we are. They weren't playing for money, not for Nike contracts. They were playing for every Cabo Verdean immigrant who ever felt small in a European city. So here is a universal truth Cabo Verde left us with. Your geography is not your destiny. Your population is not your potential. And personally, your current size does not dictate your future dominance. The world is full of people who have been made to feel like footnotes, like background characters in someone else's grand story, like they are too small, too broke, or too late to make a difference, that their dreams are too big for their shoes. Some people accept that, and some people, like a mortgage advisor from Dublin, or a 40-year-old keeper from Mindelo who plays in the 2nd division, simply refuse. They look at the giants in front of them, they look at the ocean around them, and they say, we are here. You might be sitting in an ordinary room right now. You might feel your dreams are too big for your current situation. You might think you are too small to achieve anything in your life. But remember the 10 volcanic rocks in the Atlantic. If they can make the entire world stop and listen, what is your excuse?